What if the secret to more energy, better gut health, and a brighter mind wasn't a pill or a powder, but algae? I'm Natalie Tysdal, and in this episode, we're flipping the script on algae. Forget everything you thought you knew about the slimy green stuff. Today, discover why it might just be the most powerful, science-backed superfood you've ever tried. Hey friends, it's Natalie. Welcome back to the podcast today. We're diving into something that might completely flip your health mindset, especially if you're a woman navigating midlife. I'll admit it, when I used to hear algae, I pictured pond scum, the really gross stuff. But today's guest, Catharine Arnston, is here to change that, and she does it with science, passion, and a powerful personal story. Catharine is the founder and CEO of Energize, and she has spent years studying the health benefits of microalgae like spirulina and chlorella. These tiny green powerhouses are packed with protein, chlorophyll, and nutrients that support energy, gut health, brain clarity, even menopause symptoms. If you're in your 40s, your 50s, or beyond, and you're feeling tired, foggy, maybe you're gaining weight or just not feeling like yourself lately, well, this episode is exactly what you need today. We're going to talk about how algae can fill the nutritional gaps left by our modern diets and how a few little bits a day might make a huge difference in how you feel. Catharine's story is fascinating. It began when her sister was diagnosed with breast cancer, and her research into healing foods led her to algae. Now she's on a mission to help women like us stay vibrant, strong, and energized as we age. And before we dive in today, make sure you subscribe to the podcast so you won't miss an episode. And if you've been struggling with gut issues, maybe low energy, weight gain, or you just feel off lately, be sure you download my brand new free gut reset plan. It's full of simple science-backed steps that help you reset your gut and feel like yourself again. You will find that, again, it's free at natalietysdal.com/gut reset. You can also find it here in the show notes. Let's get started today with my interview with Catharine Arnston. Catharine, thank you for joining me today.
Well, thank you for having me, Natalie. I'm so thrilled and honored to be here and speaking with you and your community, because you'll find out I'm all things algae, and nobody else is telling anyone about algae and its benefits, particularly for women and particularly in menopause. So this will be all new information, but I assure you it's all documented in science and has been around for 50 to 75 years in the scientific libraries.
That's really important to me. Really important to me that it's scientifically backed. So algae, let's get into it. I'm always looking for ways, especially as a woman in my 50s, looking for ways to be healthy, to turn around some of the damage that I've done. And I know the audience that listens, we're looking for the same things. We hear the word algae and we think slimy green stuff. So why is it so beneficial? Let's just get into what it is and how you started manufacturing this as a way to help people.
Yes. Well, let me tell you first what algae is, because people do only think of it as a pond scum. First of all, it was the first life on Earth 4 billion years ago. We've only been here for 2 million, so just to put that in context. First life on Earth, and that's and it was spirulina. Spirulina is one of the algae we'll talk about. So I say there's something spiritual about being the first life on Earth, so I now call spirulina spiritualina for that reason. But algae is its own food category, and there's two main subcategories. One is macroalgae, and the other is microalgae. We're going to be talking about microalgae today, but let me confirm what macroalgae is. It's that big stringy stuff that you see washing up on shore, also known as dulse or kelp. And it's still good for you because it has lots of fiber, but it has virtually zero nutrition. So high fiber, also high iodine, because it's only in the ocean. That's why it's called seaweed, but virtually no nutrition. Microalgae, which is what we're talking about today, is completely opposite. First of all, it's everywhere, including the ocean. It has virtually zero fiber or no fiber. Spirulina has zero fiber because it's actually a bacteria, and is the most nutrient-dense food in the world because it's called microalgae because it's microscopic in size. You can get 1 million of these on the head of a pin. So when you consolidate it into small tablets, as we do, you can start to understand why NASA says 1 gram of algae has the same nutrition as 1,000 grams of fruits and vegetables. 1 to 1,000. So first of all, ladies, This is the most nutrient-dense food in the world, and it will replace most of your other supplements that you're taking because it has 40 vitamins and minerals, highest protein, highest chlorophyll, etc. So high concentrated nutrition. Now, the problem is a lot of people aren't getting proper nutrition. Why? Because our soils are so overcropped, there's no minerals left in the soils for the plants to pull up. And let's face it, a lot of vegetables are grown far away. They're Mexico, Costa Rica. By the time they get to your plate, they've been harvested before they were ripe, so most of the enzymes and nutrients didn't make it out to the plants themselves or the fruit. They're stuck in warehouses that are dark, so they deteriorate in a lot of the nutritional value. So by the time they hit your plate, you're getting fiber and calories, but not nutrition. And the other problem we're finding is that people are so surrounded by toxins. The average adult in North America now has 700 toxins in their body, and we have to get rid of those toxins. So you're going to find out, we're going to talk about how spirulina fills nutritional gaps. That's why I call it your nutritional insurance. And chlorella, which is the other microalgae we're going to talk about, pulls out toxins. So the two of them answer the two problems we're facing: not enough nutrition, too many toxins. So within microalgae, there are hundreds of strains of microalgae, but the two most common are a blue-green algae, and spirulina is one of those blue-green algae, and one of the other strains is a green algae called chlorella. And the two of them, as I mentioned, do quite different things in your body and are very, very remarkable. Now, what you may want to also reconsider is a lot of people, they may be familiar with these tablets or maybe spirulina powder, and you may be thinking that this stuff comes from the ocean. Well, as I mentioned, there is microalgae in the ocean, but we, and pretty much anyone else who grows it hydroponically. It's grown in fresh water. So first of all, you have to think about the fact that it's not from the ocean or a lake. It's grown as an agricultural crop. And here's a picture of some algae farms. This is a spirulina farm, and this is a chlorella farm. So I want you to understand that algae, at least our algae tablets, are food. They're not a supplement. So when you take algae tablets, you are actually eating food. We call them bits because they're cute little bits of food. Very, very concentrated, no drug interactions, safe for you, newborns, children, pets, grandparents, teenagers. So when you eat algae, you're getting the most nutrient-dense food in the world, and one tablet has the same nutrition as an entire plate of vegetables.
Wow. So why is this not more common? Like, why are we so inundated with the supplement industry with all these benefits, but why do we not hear more from our medical community, even from some of our functional doctors? Why is it not more common?
Well, primarily it's because 99% of algae is grown in Asia, not here, not anywhere else. It's a multi-billion, that's with a B, multi-billion-dollar agricultural crop in Asia. It's almost as big as the beef industry is. But because it's not grown here, people aren't familiar with it. Like in Asia, you can't ride your bicycle to school or drive to work without going by an algae farm. It's just as common as corn or wheat or tomato patches. So number one, people here don't know about it. Number two, nobody has any incentive to teach you about it. There's no patent on algae because it's a vegetable. So the biotech companies aren't going to tell you about it. And the food industry does not launch new categories. You have to wait for some passionate entrepreneur like myself. I got into this to help my sister recover from breast cancer. So only a passionate entrepreneur will lift the hood, find the science, find something that's remarkable. Let's think about it. 10 years ago, you didn't know about collagen powder until Vital Proteins came on the scene. Or you didn't know about bone broth until Ancient Nutrition came on the scene. Or you didn't know about quinoa or chia. So algae is the next big thing. But here's what's interesting. The United Nations has endorsed spirulina as the answer to world hunger for 50 years. You can go online. They held a global conference on spirulina in 1974 because it has the highest concentration of protein in the world, and it's a sustainable crop. So there's nothing in the world with more protein. When you eat animal protein, it's all bound up in your body in amino acids, and your body can't absorb it. Collagens in smaller clusters called peptides. Algae protein is already in individual aminos, and as women, we need more protein, particularly as we age, because these things keep our bodies working, our DNA working, prevent muscle loss. And so algae not only has the highest concentration of protein, it's bioavailable protein. So you get, and it's a complete protein. It has 9 of the the 9 your body can't make and has 18 of the 20. So it's the best source of protein. It's carnivore friendly, paleo friendly, vegan, and it's effortless to take. You can swallow or chew these tablets. So if you or your family don't like vegetables or don't like protein, this is your answer. It's great.
So if it gives me half the energy you have, then I need it. Tell me what we're going to see, what we're going to feel if we're regularly consuming algae.
Yes, and when you take it, you really should be taking it every day. And we generally recommend at least 10 tablets of spirulina in the morning and 10 tablets of chlorella at night. So I'm going to tell you what you'll feel, and it's different for each algae. So first of all, spirulina gives you energy mentally and physically, and it's at the cellular level. That's why we call our spirulina energy bits. It's a blue-green algae, so we package it in blue to help you understand that. The kind of energy you get is very steady. I call it quiet energy. It's not a supplement. It's not a stimulant. Stimulants have caffeine, chemicals, or sugar, and it's like putting a paper on a fire. You get a burst and then a crash. Spirulina is like putting a log on the fire. It's very steady because it gives you energy at the cellular level. Your cellular energy is created by something called your mitochondria, and I want to get into that in a minute because as you get older, you have fewer mitochondria, which contribute to chronic disease, brain fog, and spirulina has the nutrients in it that can prevent or reverse that issue. So what you'll feel from spirulina, especially if you take at least 10, 15, or 20 is even better, or have 30 for lunch, your hunger will be gone. There's 1 calorie per tablet, and you'll get fully nourished, so your hunger will be gone. If you're doing intermittent fasting, it does not interfere with your fast. If you're ketogenic, there's no carbs, and you'll be nourished. So hunger gone, and suddenly you won't feel tired any longer. Your brain will be functioning better. And the reason for that is because your brain has the most mitochondria per cell. There's 2 million mitochondria per cell in your brain. And as we'll get into the mitochondria discussion, you'll find out there's an antioxidant in spirulina not found in any other food anywhere in the world, anywhere in the universe, and it brings your mitochondria back to life. It's like turning your lights on. So what you'll feel is no hunger, less fatigue, better focus, and you'll just be ready for your day. All effortlessly if you swallow them or chew them as I do, all in probably 10 or 15 minutes if you swallow them, within seconds literally if you chew them. Pretty amazing, right? So you don't have to wait. It's not like you have to wait a month or anything. You don't have to wait a day. We fuel NHL teams, NFL teams, Olympic teams. They use spirulina before a game or a workout to give them energy and focus on the field, on the ice. And then they use the chlorella, which we'll talk about in a minute. We call ours recovery bits because chlorella pulls out toxins and builds your immune system. So generally, there's no upper limit, by the way. I have sometimes 50, but 10 would be sufficient to fill nutritional gaps. 30 would be what you would want for therapeutic amounts.
Well, I like it that it's not a stimulant. I mean, I think that we rely too much on, I need the energy, I'm just going to have that quick fix.
Yeah.
And then we feel the crash later. And it's that immediate gain for the crash later. So super. And then the other one you're saying is good at
chlorella.
night. Why? What's in that?
So this one, spirulina has the highest protein in the world and high B vitamins that convert it to energy. Plus it has that nutrient that helps heal your mitochondria so you can have more cellular energy. Chlorella has the highest chlorophyll in the world. That's why it's called chlorella, because of the chlorophyll. Now, chlorophyll is alkaline, and alkalinity is very important to keeping your cells healthy. Yeah. Plus, the chlorophyll builds your blood. I don't have the chart here, but the chemical composition of chlorophyll is virtually identical to your hemoglobin, that's your red blood cells. So the trouble is our vegetables don't have any chlorophyll in them anymore. So you're not getting any amount of chlorophyll to be medicinal, to help build your blood. When you have healthy blood, your body is healthier, your brain is healthier, all your cells are healthier. So number one, chlorella builds your blood, which builds your body. Number two, chlorella does have a hard cell wall. Spirulina does not, because it's actually a bacteria. And what does that hard cell wall do? Two things. It has fiber, so it feeds your gut biome, which we know is very critical. And that hard cell wall attaches to heavy metals, mercury, lead, radiation, aluminum, alcohol, lactic acid, and pulls them out. So it's a detoxing algae. Chlorella also helps build your gut health, and it stimulates what's known as peristalsis, also a fancy word for bowel movements. So chlorella is very much a gut food because of the healing of the gut, and it removes what I call the junk in your trunk. Because you need to to be healthy, you need proper nutrition in, which is spirulina, and you need to detox and remove the stuff that your body didn't want, and that's what chlorella does. So they work completely differently. Nutrients in, toxins out. And because spirulina, as I mentioned, has these nutrients that heal your mitochondria, and your brain has the most mitochondria, think of spirulina as brain food. And because chlorella builds your gut and pulls out the toxins that you don't want, it's gut food. So they work in completely different areas of your body, but they work in conjunction with each other.
Well, I am really big on gut health. I talk about it a lot here on the podcast. I've had many guests on about it. And I've actually had, just like you in founding this because of your sister, I've had gut issues, major gut issues. And so getting rid of those toxins, rebuilding, especially if you've had an antibiotic, which, can cause all kinds of issues, different podcasts, but rebuilding that gut microbiome is critical. Tell me about, like I said, we do things out of necessity, right? Tell me about your sister and how you founded the company and then how she's doing and how it helped her.
Yes. Well, I'm Canadian by birth, although I've lived in Boston since for 35 years. And I mentioned the Canada part because 17, 18 years ago, I have two sisters, a younger and an older. And my younger sister, I'm close to both of them, developed breast cancer. She lives in Canada. And her oncologist, which fortunately happened to be a woman, because women are more open to nutrition, her oncologist told her to change her diet to an alkaline diet as she was preparing for her chemotherapy. Now, they didn't tell her what an alkaline diet was or why specifically it was good for her. So my baby sister called me because I've always been a really good researcher. I knew nothing about nutrition. So anyone who's listening, I was in your shoes 17 years ago, but I got on the internet and I Googled alkaline diets and I found out the phytonutrients and the chlorophyll are very important for building your immune system, and you need a strong immune system for when you are going through chemo. So that was number one. Number two is I found out that there was a German scientist by the name of Otto Warburg who won a Nobel Prize back in the 50s for discovering that cancer cannot exist in cells that are alkaline. There's a range of 0 to 14. So as long as your cells are at least 7.1, you can keep cancer out of those cells. If the cancer's already there, it won't prevent it, but it will keep it from spreading. So I have to believe that my sister's oncologist knew about that as well. So that's why I believe she wanted her to have an alkaline diet. So I did a lot of deep research, found foods for her to eat, not eat. She changed her diet. She did go through chemo. She completely healed, and she is cancer-free still 15 years later, and we celebrate her being cancer-free every year. But in the process of helping her, I started learning about plant-based nutrition, saw how powerful it was. Nobody was talking about it 16 years ago, so I gave up my 25-year corporate career. I had been in international business, nothing to do with nutrition. And I went to the school at Institute for Integrative Nutrition. I took got a health coaching certificate, and I taught plant-based nutrition for a year at corporations and hospitals. And this is what truly led me to Algae. Because as I was teaching people to eat more vegetables, and ladies, I know you'll relate to this, everyone was telling me, well, my kids won't eat them, or my husband won't eat vegetables, so they go bad quickly. It's too much work. They give me gas. I can't digest them.
Yeah.
So I thought, I need to find a way to get the plant-based nutrition into people in a way that's effortless, easy, doesn't take time, doesn't go bad. And ultimately, I looked at everything I'd found for my sister, and when I got to Algae, that's when the miracle happened, because it comes in these little tiny tablets. If you swallow them, there's no repeat. Each tablet's the same density as an entire plate of vegetables. It has healing properties that I want to talk about with the mitochondria. It's been endorsed by international agencies for 50 years. There's 100,000 studies documenting the health benefits, some of which we've talked about today or we'll talk about. And the only problem was that people outside of Asia didn't know about it, and there was no safe, pure source of it here in America. So I decided I would change both of those situations and started my company, Energy Bits. And we're 15 years old now, and we're changing lives every second of the day, because we're helping people get the nutrition that they need and help prevent chronic disease or reversing some of the symptoms that they're experiencing as they get older, particularly for women.
What about for women, perimenopause and menopause? I mean, hormones are such an issue, from the brain fog to sweating and not being able to sleep. Like, I mean, I could go on and on. How is it helping women at that age?
Well, the problem is most of us don't really know how our body works. And so, as I explained to people, I don't really cook very much. So when I finally cook something, I need a recipe. And I follow the recipe and I get all the ingredients. And then if I follow the directions, I make what I'm supposed to be making, and it's pretty good. Your body is the same way. As long as you have the recipe to help you, because aging is natural, declining is not. And I tell people, once you get to like 40 or 50, you have a choice. You can either get bitter because your body is changing, or you can get better. So part of the recipe to getting better is algae, spirulina and chlorella, but particularly spirulina. And I'm going to explain to you why and what's going on with your body as you hit that perimenopause and menopause. So the reality is we've been on Earth for 2 million years. And up until about 150 years ago, we died at 30. Biologically and evolutionarily, our body still thinks we're dying at 30. So after 30 and as you get into 40, which is the perimenopause, menopause period, your body slows down and eventually stops making certain things like melatonin, like estrogen. Right? Because it thinks that your days are over. And one of the other things that slows down is the production of an antioxidant, which I'm sure you've never heard of before. It's called superoxide dismutase, also known as SOD. Now, what does this SOD do? Well, first of all, like everything, your body makes it for you from the moment you're born. But once you hit 30, it slows down, and once you hit 40, you virtually have none. And what does it do? It protects your mitochondria from free radical damage. Now remember, your mitochondria generate all of your cellular energy, not just energy to run to the grocery store or have a great workout. This is your lymphatic system, your neurotransmitters, your heartbeat. They give you energy for everything. Think of your mitochondria as you would lights in an office. You can't do any work in an office if the lights go out. And when the lights go out, you just call the phone, you pick up the phone and you call maintenance and they fix them. In your body, we don't have that maintenance team to replace our mitochondria. So when they get damaged or they die, it's effectively the lights go out in your body, in your brain, and this is what's leading to all of these things like brain fog, weight gain, fatigue. So the key is to protect your mitochondria at all costs. Now, this stuff called SOD does it. And what does it do? Well, a byproduct of this cellular energy, which is known as ATP, are free radicals. It's just the way it is. Now, normally, we've heard of these things called antioxidants that can neutralize free radicals. The problem is your mitochondria have an inner membrane. This inner membrane doesn't exist anywhere else in your cells, only in mitochondria. And it prevents almost all antioxidants from getting in there, except, ironically, the ones that you can find in algae, like chlorophyll, glutathione, and the most important one, this thing called superoxide dismutase, also known as SOD. So what does this SOD do? Well, it acts like a big golf umbrella. I'm sure you've all seen those big golf umbrellas. Whether you're golfing or shopping, and you get stuck in a rainstorm, you pop that baby up, you could get a family of 10 underneath the golf umbrella, right? Now, you don't stop the rain, but you stop the rain from getting you wet. So superoxide dismutase does not stop the free radicals, but what it does, it converts them to water and oxygen, so they do not damage the mitochondria. Beautiful. So this is what's going on for you at every moment from the moment you're born to about 30. And then after 30, you have less of this superoxide dismutase, so that big golf umbrella has now shrunk down to one of those city totes umbrella. So by the time you're 35 or 40,
under it. Yeah.
Oh, you're dodging the raindrops, or in this case, free radicals. So your mitochondria is getting a little damaged because it's getting a little free radicals. By the time you hit 45 and then 50, this is when you're in perimenopause and menopause, right? When everything else is going off the rails, this is when your golf umbrella, that SOD, you have none of it. So that golf umbrella is now the size of a cocktail umbrella, virtually, no protection. This is exactly when chronic disease kicks in. Brain fog, weight gain, and you have all these health issues, and women get hit twice as hard. Why? Because we're also losing estrogen at the same age. And what nobody's probably mentioned to you is that estrogen acts as an antioxidant for your mitochondria. So we get double hit. We lose all this SOD and we lose estrogen. Of course we're going to have problems. Men have problems too, but women suffer the most. And this is one of the reasons why we have more Alzheimer's, more dementia, more depression, more anxiety, because the highest amount of mitochondria are in your brain. There's 2 million per cell in your brain. Just to give you a contrast that, a regular skin cell or fat cell maybe has 100, maybe 1,000 at the most. So 2 million mitochondria per cell. So when they get damaged because you don't have that golf umbrella because you don't have any SOD anymore, that's the first thing that goes. The lights literally go off in your brain. Now, the world doesn't know that the highest concentration of superoxide dismutase, this SOD, is found in spirulina algae.
That's amazing.
But here's the trouble. It can't be any algae because this SOD is also an enzyme. And if anyone knows anything about nutrition, you know that enzymes are deactivated by high heat. So all the lesser quality algae that's mostly sold out there, because it's in Trader Joe's and Costco and all those other places, they use high heat to dry their algae so they can get to market quickly because they're lower priced. It deactivates the superoxide dismutase. So it's like buying a great car at a great price. You lift the hood, no engine. Yeah. Looks great. Doesn't work. So this is why our algae works so well. Or you can get frozen or fresh spirulina because it also has not been treated by high heat. So we can turn the lights back on in your brain, in your body. This SOD, there's 25,000 studies documenting that superoxide dismutase reduces inflammation, protects you from heart disease, protects you from Alzheimer's, protects you from just about everything. The scientists and the world doesn't know that you can get the highest concentration of it in spirulina if it's untreated with unheated algae. So it's got to be raw like ours. So I'm so excited because I have an opportunity to help women either protect themselves from these symptoms or if they're currently experiencing them, reverse the process because your mitochondria, just like every cell in your body, is constantly changing. It's either being damaged or it's growing back. So we can turn your lights back on just by getting superoxide dismutase into you.
With a lot of supplements, and I know you don't consider it a supplement, a food, but you don't automatically feel it. And I think a lot of people give up. So they'll take something for a while and then I don't really know if it's doing any good and I'm spending money. Do you start feeling the effects of it? Do you start feeling better right away?
Oh, with spirulina within 20 minutes. Because it's actually a bacteria, which means it has no cellulose wall. So it gets absorbed instantly into your body and the superoxide dismutase goes direct to the mitochondria. So that's why I tell people it's 99% bioavailable. And we've done clinical trials to test the effects of the mitochondria. So energetically, you will start to feel some energy within 20 minutes. On the mitochondria, your mitochondria average lifespan is 14 days because it's located exactly where these free radicals are. Just to put that in context, so your mitochondria DNA lasts 14 days. Your regular DNA lasts a lifetime because they're nowhere near where the free radicals are. So the regeneration of the mitochondria will take about a week or two to start to kick in. But the other thing is you have to remember that they are generating what's called ATP, which is your cellular energy. Your body can't store cellular energy. It's not like a battery where you can charge it up and have it running like your phone. So whatever you're doing in the moment, that's where your ATP is and your cellular energy is directed. So if you are doing a great workout and you take 15 or 20 or 30 of these spirulina tablets before your workout, you'll have great energy. You'll run further or lift more in your workout and you won't even notice it. But if you're just sitting on the sofa after you take 15 or 20, you won't be hungry and your mental acuity will be improved, but it won't be a dramatic change.
Yeah.
But the great thing is, if you take this every day, and I really encourage you to do that, then you can cut back on a lot of those other supplements. You don't need a multivitamin, you don't need a fish oil, you don't need a CoQ10, you don't need a biotin. You certainly don't need collagen powder. It has more collagen in it than collagen powder, and it's a sustainable crop. So it will save you time and money. So that's pretty sweet too, and it's food. The FDA considers it a food because it's a nutrient in other foods or ingredient in other foods. So when you're giving it to yourself and to your family, you're having food. We call them bits because they're bits of nutrition. There's nothing else in them.
Well, I'm fascinated by it. I'm excited to try it. You've sent me some that I've just received. So I want to be sure people have the information. I'll get your website. Anything else where people can contact you and where they can purchase?
Well, I will tell you where to buy them in a second, but I do want to let you know I know I'm only a sample size of one, but I'm turning 70 next year. It's
No.
70, right?
That's amazing.
This is all my own hair. There's no extensions. I don't do Botox. My brain is working. I got my PhD just last year. I have only young millennials. I travel nonstop. I'm writing a book. So I want women to know this stuff works. And yes, I do eat other food. I do intermittent fasting. I also prioritize sleep, fresh air,
You as well.
movement.
Yes.
So all the things that will really help you tend to either be free or they're certainly from Mother Nature. And remember, algae was the first life. It was gifted to us by Mother Nature. I take credit for growing it carefully so we preserve the nutrients. But she's looking after us. We're just after Mother's Day, and she's the ultimate best mother. I just encourage people to prioritize themselves, give themselves the good nutrition that they need, and sleep that they need, and movement they need. Never feel guilty about that. And know that this stuff really does work. We just haven't been told about it. So it's not new. It's just new to you.
Yeah.
And to learn more and to buy some, you can visit us at energybits.com, ENERGYBITS.com. And we have a 20% discount code for you, Natalie Tysdal, all in one word.
Right.
And it works on everything. We have different brands. The spirulina is the one that gives you energy and helps with your mitochondria. And the chlorella, that's in the blue package because it's a blue-green algae. And the chlorella is the wellness detox gut algae, and it's called Recovery Bits. So
I'm really excited to try it, Catherine. Thank you so much for your research, for all that you've done. I'm just fascinated with it. And I'll let everybody know after I try.
Thank you, Natalie.
Yeah, so nice to meet you.
Take care. Take care, everybody.
Thank you for joining the Natalie Tysdal podcast. You can follow along on Instagram and at natalietysdal.com. Subscribe to the show to catch every new episode and leave a review so I can continue to bring you fresh content. See you next week.